So let's take the Pythagorean theorem and add some stuff to it so we understand it. We're going to add some numbers. So here I've got a right triangle. It's a right triangle because it shows the right angle, doesn't it? I don't have to ask whether it is or isn't a right triangle. I've got two sides, 8 inches and 15 inches, and
Sorry.
You're like way early.
No, because you might have to be me next period.
I didn't get an email.
Yeah, she said she hadn't told you.
Okay.
So I thought I'd break the news.
Okay. So we need to find C. So what does the Pythagorean theorem say?
That all sides
A squared
plus b squared
plus b squared
equals c squared.
equals c squared. We agree? We further, by radicalizing it, by doing the inverse function, what number times itself is c squared? C. So C equals, I'll put it the other way, C equals A squared plus B squared, right? Well, let's fill in the parts. Sit down, Tyler. Let's fill in the parts. What is the leg A? What's the size of it?
8 inches.
So C equals 8 squared plus, what's leg B?
15.
15 squared. So type this in using the radical sign. The square root of 8 squared plus 15 squared. The square root of 8 squared plus 15 squared. Do not blurt the answer. That'll give you C. Do not blurt the answer. Did you get the answer?
No, I don't know how to do it.
Why?
It says I have a side tax.
So control x squared, and then type 8 squared.
Okay, no. Yeah, because I was obviously sucks with it. So you better be quiet. Oh,
Just type it in and
Who's having? Tyler, sit down. I will not ask you again. I will not ask you again to sit down. Who has problem? Who's having a problem typing this in? Did you get an answer?
I got it.
Did you talk again? You were out of class. You were talking to her about something that wasn't this. She just was.
she said no to you.
Don't talk again. Okay, so use the radical sign, control, and the x squared sign. You see above it, it's got a little radical in it. Type 8 squared, set down, plus 15 squared.
Brad, he told you to put that down. He did. I got 9.4.
Let me be me.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Willie, can you tell me
Hey, what are you doing?
I don't even know how to do it.
Okay.
I typed it in, but I got a syntax error. Because you put C equals, you're supposed to put that C equals.
Unless you can listen, you guys. The conversations, if they're not about math, don't have them. There are too many of you, and you're too talkative.
I got it still.
So, if you put in the square root, which is the radical sign can be accessed by hitting Control and the x squared. Control, it's the C tier, it's the orange button. And then put 8 squared, which is that same sign, plus 15 squared. Then hit enter. If you're typing in C equals into the calculator, you're going to get a syntax error every time. So, Rancy, what is C equal? Why not?
Can I say it?
Where's that thing?
Have you typed this in at all?
I was going to, as we started.
Solve it.
Oh, I put.
Brooklyn, what you got?
17.
17 inches. Now, I will tell you guys, there's only so many perfect right triangles in the world. In fact, there's web pages that tell you how many perfect right triangles, because there's not a ton. That's why I knew 3, 4, 5. Because it's the most common used right triangle. So let's look at this one down here. What do we know?
Well, that's
Pythagorean Theorem, what is it?
A squared plus B squared equals C squared. But there's no A.
There's no A, so A is gonna have
So we're looking for A, aren't we?
yes. So A is gonna have to
So how do I get the B squared to the other side?
you're gonna have to move it.
How?
Negative B squared.
Negative B squared, and I do it to both sides.
Cheat.
So I get A squared equals C squared minus B squared. Who said what?
Me too.
Araya.
Wait, so you don't have to do the square root and all that yet?
I'm not there yet. Yeah, if you want to find... Now, let's say that you don't want to learn how to do the radical sign. You do realize you could use nsolve this way too. So let's use nsolve in this one and see how it works. So what is A squared? I don't know what it is, do I? So A squared equals, what's C?
C is 28. No, 24.
Try again.
20 is
Remember,
26.
C is the hypotenuse.
Exactly.
And the hypotenuse is always the longest angle, or longest side. So 26 squared minus
24 squared.
24 squared. You could type that in to nsolve and solve for A. Try it out.
I got 10.
It's 10. Okay, I got all the right.
So
I haven't even wrote
type in A squared equals 26 squared minus 24 squared.
15 squared.
Can I see the answer?
Not yet.
This is easy.
Did you get the answer?
Yeah, I'm doing a little fool. I already know this.
What? I got an argument.
That means you probably didn't put comma A.
Oh, Mr. Wheeler, you know something? You went 1, 3, 2 instead of 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean.
Like on by the numbers, you went 1, 3, 2 instead of 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Rainey, what'd you get?
I'm done.
What'd you get, Rainey? 10 centimeters. So you can do this a couple of ways. You can use nsolve that's straight up, just fill in the parts. You can literally write A squared plus B squared equals C squared, fill in the parts you know, comma, search for the parts you don't, and it'll give it to you. You don't have to rewrite A squared plus B squared equals C squared at all. Let's look at this one here. What's A? So Pythagorean Theorem says
We don't know A.
A squared plus B squared
C squared.
equals C squared. So what's A on this triangle?
We don't know.
A. Control. What's A? We don't know, it's just A. What's B? Landon, what's B? 12. So 12 squared equals, what's C?
15.
15 squared. Type that in, nsolve, and search for A.
15 is 9.
Wait, do we use insult?
You can. We are this time.
Oh, I didn't use nsolve.
Get your calculator out and solve it.
Right.
Haley, stick to this.
Was I
Use your
right?
calculator.
I was right.
He was right.
I told you.
It was right.
So what'd you get, Kaylin? 9 inches. Let's talk about a word problem. If you're making noises, humming, singing, just making random noises, stop. So let's talk about a word problem here. So two cars start out at the same point, vroom, vroom, and they get going. One drives 8 miles south. Goes south 8 miles.
Radio, stop.
The other drives 15 miles east. 15 miles east. Now, we know we're dealing with the problem of right triangles. One's directly south, one's directly east. It's going to be a right angle.
Oh, the 15th.
How far apart are the two cars? Well, the two cars are that hypotenuse apart, right? So, how does the Pythagorean theorem go?
A squared.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
What?
So there's the Pythagorean theorem. Let's fill in the parts we know. Do we know A?
Yes.
What's A?
A squared.
So 8 squared plus
15 squared.
15 squared equals C squared. Find out how far they are apart. Don't.
Would you put
It's 17.
two of the same numbers and two problems?
Nobody figured that out except you.
No, I figured it out.
Perfect
No,
triangles.
You copied and pasted.
I know.
Yes. Sounds like a rat.
Kaylin?
On that.
Kaylin, you doing okay?
I'll do it. I've got it.
You doing okay? Doing okay? Trayson, you got an answer?
I think so.
Can I say it?
I have an answer.
Control the conversation. Trayson, what you got? 17 miles apart.
Yes, that's what I got too.
All right. So, using this, remember, you just plug in the numbers. A and B are the two legs. C is the hypotenuse. What do we know about the hypotenuse? It's the longest leg. It's the longest of all the sides.
Wait, can you get one that has, like, doesn't have a B in it?
Yeah, we're going to get you there. Remember, A and B, write them exactly the same.
So it's just, instead of it B, like, being negative B, be negative A squared.
You can use straight up in solve, just typing them in.